570,000 barrels of oil per day once it's completed. In April of 2016 is when the Sioux tribe of members of Standing Rock, they created the Sacred Stone Camp. And basically the issue is that their concern is environmental impact. How's this going to affect the environment, the groundwater, the trees, all of the vegetation, water contamination, because this pipeline will actually run across the land and under the Missouri River.
Wow.
And also the destruction of their sacred burial grounds, which will be destroyed because of the construction. So basically we will be uprooting up their funeral plots, their families' burial grounds, where their ancestors are buried. And since April, there's been a number of arrests and injuries and conflicts that have arisen. Now, I posted a couple of those videos to our Facebook page, so that you can see the amount of brute force that's being inflicted against this people. And I'm talking about men, women, children, old, seniors, everybody. They are inflicting ridiculous amounts of violence against these people. Tear gas, mace, pepper gas, dogs, water cannons.
That sounds like Vietnam.
It sounds like civil rights.
It sounds like civil rights.
Right. It sounds like the civil rights era when they were marching. You know, it's the same type of environment. They've taken over their camps. They've arrested numerous people. And back in, right before the election, they started a legal action to stop the building of this pipeline.
Okay.
And Obama did a temporary stay of construction during the whole election process. So they did a temporary stay, but during the stay they found that their worst fears had already been realized. The pipeline had already been leaking. No one knew how long it had been leaking, but according to the leak, and I have the numbers here about how much oil was actually leaked into the groundwater. Let's see. There's been approximately 176,000 gallons of oil spilled into nearby creeks as a result of a leak that spread almost 7 kilometers, which is about 5.4 miles from the site of the leak. And they don't know how long it's leaked, and they don't know what caused the leak. So without the locals are the ones who actually found the leak. It was not the
it was not the engineering company,
and it wasn't the authorities, right? So nobody really knows about how much of this water, and we understand oil, you know, we don't know the chemical compound. I don't know if anybody knows the chemical compound or what they do to oil, but I'm sure it's not healthy for us to drink.
Not at all.
Right, you know, and so what we're looking at is a group of people who are basically being terrorized, and they have insisted that they're going to stay, because they said the temporary stay was really a way to get them to leave. But now that Bush has taken office, that was one of the first things he did. I mean, I'm sorry, Trump. Now that Trump has taken office, that was one of the first things he did. He pushed for it to be completed. That was one of the first things, for the construction of the pipeline to be completed, since it was in the limbo place. Now, why is that important to us as African Americans, as Americans?
As American, I was going to say.
Because, you know, here we have a group of people who have the same rights as we do. The right to, you know, public speak. They can say what they want to say. They have the right to stand up for their rights. And first of all, their rights are being taken from them. You know, they're being brutalized and beaten. Their children, they're being violated. Dogs. I can't even fathom someone sicking a dog on a child, or anyone. You know, you sick a dog, and the dog's intent is to hurt or maim. You know, or you use water cannons that could potentially drown someone. You know, or pepper spray someone. You have children and mothers out there pouring milk on their children to counter the effects of the pepper spray. These are people who live in this country just like us. And we're having some serious issues with our rights being infringed upon as well. But my question is, when do we stop looking at everything through this short lens and broaden our perspective and see what's happening to all of us?
Yeah.
This is everybody. This is our brothers and sisters. No, they may not be African American, but they're American. There's that American part on the end, and I think it's time for us to start looking more outside of ourselves. If we just look in our community, we could start there.
Okay.
We could start in the community, and then let's broaden it out a little more. But here we have people who are in the same country as us, and nobody knows. Most of the people that I have spoken to about this have no idea what I'm talking about.
I didn't even have any idea. I didn't, and that's what's scary to me, because there's a lot of things that's going on that we're not privy to. But here's the other thing that's interesting to me, and you asked that question. When are we going to, really pay attention to things that are outside of us?
Right.
And the reason why it is so important that we do is because if you think this is not going to affect you, then you got another thing coming.
You're wrong.
You got another thing coming, because this is just like you said. These are people just like we are. I mean, let's just go to, the fact that the rights of people are being snatched, illegally taken away. But how do they get away with something as brutal as this? And it's due in large part because we're not having conversations like this.
That's right.
And so we got to stop shying away from, conversations that are uneasy, uncomfortable, because if we continue to do that and stick our head in the mud, then we're just as bad as those who are the perpetrators.
But on the flip side of that, Angie, some people may know but are very selfish because they're worried about our own issues. I can see different races saying, well, that's not our issue.
Wow.
We have our own issues. That's why we have Black Lives Matter.
That's why we're so divided. That's why we can't get anywhere as a country, because we have that mindset that it's always somebody else's issue.
Right.
We need to take up, maybe if we took up someone else's issue for a change, something may change in our own issue.
Exactly.
If you stop being so self-centered, if we stop focusing so much on what's going on with us and help someone else, then that doubles our fight. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If we help them, we do it as a country all the time. We go in and help other people fight. Right. We become allies with someone else. So I just think that it's a sad day. First of all, when people are being treated that way. People that were given this land by the government. This is not just they're over there. This land was given to their ancestors by our government, and it was their land to begin with. Let's not go there.
Yeah, that's another story.
But they were so graciously given this small patch of land by their government that they're now forcibly taking back from them. And I think there's a term like eminent domain.
Eminent domain.
Yeah, eminent domain.
Yes.
That they use to take your property. Because, while we're so concerned about it happening over there, it can happen to us.
Oh, it has happened to us.
It happens to us every day. People lose part of their property because the city is in need of it or the county is in need of it. And the whole water issue is a whole nother scary thought.
Oh, my gosh. If nothing else, this conversation is needed, because when you brought to my attention that the water is being affected, what makes you think that water is going to stay right in that little bitty old space right there? Water is fluid.
Thank you.
And it goes, it flows. And it goes from city to city, country to country, and it's going to end up in your backyard if this is not being spoke about, talked about, brought to our attention, to the people at large, so that it can be dealt with while it's in this stage right now. It could be blown out of proportion at this point right now, but the more and more people that are privy to this information and making it I won't say their problem, but making it their priority.
Right.
And let's start in prayer and fasting. Because when it gets to a point where it becomes a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Beyond your authority, then from what I've read in my Bible, fasting is necessary.
Thank you.
It is a must.
And the part that scares me, this is basically a testing or a proving ground.
Okay.
If they can get away with this and nobody say anything and it stays this quiet little thing that it is, who's to say that Detroit or Atlanta or Chicago or Florida or some other city may go through this next?
And Dallas,
thank you,
Texas.
And there's nobody to stand up for it now, nor will there be then. And by that time, it'll be a pandemic and everybody will be going crazy. But we got to deal with this now. I mean, this is something that we as a community of Americans and even believers have to deal with now. It's not acceptable to let people be massacred and slaughtered and violated and beaten and it's a terrible, terrible testament to our country.
Now they did start it because it's such a quiet subject. I know my family for the state of North Carolina has been fighting it for probably about 4 years, and then they lost in this last election. So down on the coast of North Carolina, around Wilmington, Kitty Hawk, and all of that, they have officially started, but that's not talked about. Now everybody's focusing out on the Dakotas, where it's already happening in your own backyard, and so. There's no telling. And I told you about Pittsburgh. I found out about that because I was on a project and I was asking questions. So it's probably happening in more places that we don't know about. It's just that the Dakota Indians made noise about it.
Do we have any numbers on the on how many people are involved with this, or is it more people now in 2017 involved with this fight right now?
Well, right now, like I said, they've been fighting the fight since April of 2016.
Okay.
As of right now, we have the issue has become. In the beginning, it was just the North American Indians that were fighting this battle. Now the protesters have come in.
Okay.
But the problem is that the protesters are causing problems with the Indians because the Indians were peaceably protesting.
Oh, okay.
But the protesters have come in and they're violent and they're attacking and they're going. So now the Indians are also being brought into this battle, and it's causing really a three-legged thing going on. We have the authorities, we have the protesters, but then we have the Indians. So it's become actually quite a conundrum, if you really want to say. It's become pretty serious, and now they're saying that basically it is it's coming down to the protesters against the tribal families.
That's where you start that civil unrest
amongst
each other. Then you don't know who's doing what.
So it's becoming and like I said, if you want to know a little bit more about what we're talking about today, you can go to our Facebook page. I've kind of uploaded a couple of videos that you can watch in regards to what's going on here in Standing Rock, North Dakota, which is right outside your back door.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to really be paying attention, because I don't think that this is something that's not going to visit us soon. I believe that this is a testing or a proving ground to see the type of reaction, to gauge the kind of reaction.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, that they're going to get as a result. And I think that we'll see this again. I think that we'll see this very soon in some other countries. And the fact that they've already decided that they're going to settle in for the winter. And they're going to protest throughout the winter. They're getting tents, they're getting cabins, and everything, and they're planning to stay. As right now, it says last summer, the Coman tribe camp reached an estimated 10,000 people.
Okay, gotcha.
the winters out there are brutal too. Have you ever been out there?
No, I've never been there, but
North
I've
Dakota,
seen pictures.
South Dakota, and Minnesota, which are all there together, and it gets down below.
Yeah, I see it here.
Zero.
It says an improvement over recent sub-zero days, where campers struggled to get any structure warmer than 38 degrees. So they couldn't even get their structures warmer than 38 degrees.
No joke.
And now that Trump has released the order, nothing is really going to stop this pipeline. It's going to happen. So now, as a people, what are we going to do? What are we going to say? But there is one thing that I will say. The tribe is now suing Trump. They're actually suing the government and Trump, and they're trying to get a stay to at least have someone here, because their entire burial ground is going to be destroyed. All of their ancestral burial grounds, all of their family and their artifacts and the things that were buried with their families, all of that's going to be destroyed as a result. And it's even gone to the point where they have chained their bodies to machinery. They have linked their arms in front of machinery, and there's no regard for human life going on right now at all.
Woo, boy. Wow. If you guys want to join in on the conversation, I know some of you guys are joining in with us on Facebook. Appreciate you guys joining in there as well. The number to call directly to the studio is 678-322-8590. We're going to go ahead and take a short break at this moment, and we'll be right back with more topics regarding what's going on in and around our nation, guys. You guys hang tight, listen up, pray up, stay prayed up. We'll see you in 5 and 5.
When I worked in Minnesota about 10 years ago,
Hey guys, thank you guys for coming in and joining us on Facebook. As you are made aware on our Facebook link, we're talking about the Dekota Pipeline. Hey Vic, hey Sherry, hey Chris. I think I've seen Jody, Lisa, and Ife. Thank you guys for joining in on our conversation on Facebook. We're going to talk more about Dekota Pipeline and then some of the other issues that's going in and around our communities. It's time for us to, take heed to what's going on, everyone. This is not a joke. This is not a game. One of my co-hosts actually gave me a heads up on what's going on with the Dekota Pipeline, but there are many, many more things that are happening in and around our government, as you guys are making aware of. But I will say this, you guys stay tuned, stay aware, most of all stay prayed up. Let's not try to make this a black-white thing. Let's try to make this a Christian thing. Let's all stay prayed up with one another. I'm going on a fast as well in regards to what's going on in our country. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to sign off for right now, but we'll be back once again in about 10 minutes with a second half of our discussion, Dekota Pipeline. Level up, everyone.